For notes number 20, the goal is to find the surface area and volume of cylinders. However, the warm-up is an extension to the house flipping project, and in this scenario, we're going to be reflooring the kitchen and deciding how much it's going to cost. So if we look at the kitchen, it's made up of two different shapes, this rectangular shape here, and then the half circle here. So for the rectangular shape, area is length times width. So if I look at this picture, I know that this is 10 feet because I'm reading this 10. And then if 4.5 is halfway across, if I double 4.5, you get 9. So if I multiply 9 times 10, that would give me 90, and the units is square feet because it's 9 feet times 10 feet. For a circle, the formula is pi r squared. However, this is only half of a circle here. So to modify our formula, we're just going to divide by 2 since it's half a circle. So the radius is 4.5 because it goes halfway across. So we're using 3.14 for pi. So pi times 4.5 times 4.5, and then divide by 2. So if I multiply 4.5 times 4.5 times 3.14 equals, divide by 2 equals, I get 31.8 square feet. So in order to find the total square feet, I need to add both of these numbers together, right? Because it's made up of two different shapes. So to get the total area of the kitchen, if I add 31.8 plus 90, I get 121.8 square feet. All right, so if maple flooring costs $3 per square foot, how much is it going to cost to put the new floor in? So it's already set up here, $3 for 1 square foot. How much for 121.8 square feet? So we're just cross multiplying. So 1 times x is x, and 3 times 121.8 is $365.40. So that is the cost. Part C is saying that we're going to need a little bit extra because there's certain pieces of the kitchen that are not exactly rectangular. So we need a little bit extra for those spots. So it says tack on an extra 15%. So how do I make 15% a decimal? I erase the percent symbol, and then I move the decimal to the left twice. So this is why you see 0.15 right here. So the total cost is the cost of the flooring, which was $365.40, and then we want 15% of that. So essentially you're taking 0.15 and you're multiplying 365.40. 15%, as if you're leaving a 15% tip, you would take the total and multiply it by 0.15. So this is 365.40 plus 15% would be $54.81. So if I add these together, I get a total of $420.21. So for this next part here, we're going to try to derive the formula for volume of a cylinder. So for volume, you're really using this formula. You're going to find the area of the base times the height, and that was seen in the rectangular prism in this picture here. The area of the base, well, the base is a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So that's the area of the base, and then you multiply it by the height. So we're going to do the same thing for a cylinder. A cylinder, instead of a rectangular base, a cylinder has a circular base. So what is the area of a circle? Area of a circle is pi r squared, and then we're just multiplying that by the height. So that is the formula for a cylinder, pi r squared, area of that base, which is a circle, times the height. So r is the radius, and h is the height. All right, so if I look at this first picture, we're asked to find the volume. So again, there's two things we need. We need the radius and the height. So in this picture, the radius is 18 because it goes from the center to a point on the circle. So 18 inches is the radius, and then the height is 15 inches. Height always has to be perpendicular to the base. So the formula for volume, the area of the base, which is a circle, so pi r squared times the height. So volume is equal to, just plugging in from the picture, pi times 18, which is going to be squared, times the height, which is 15. And again, for pi, we're going to use approximately 3.14. So essentially I'm multiplying these numbers together. So 3.14 times 18 times 18 times 15 is 15,260.4, and the units would be inches cubed. The reason it's inches cubed, if you remember, volume is always units cubed, but it's because we multiplied 18 inches times 18 inches times 15 inches. So there you get inches cubed. For this back side, looking at our cylinder, identify the radius and the height, because our formula is pi r squared times the height, so we need the radius and the height. So the radius, remember, only goes halfway across the circle. So if 11 is all the way across, I just have to take 11 and divide that by 2. So the radius is 5.5. And then the height would be 21. And our units here is meters. All right, so volume, plugging in from the picture, I would have pi times 5.5 squared times 21. So if I multiply 3.14 times 5.5 times 5.5 times 21, I get 1,994.7 meters cubed. For this last part, we're going to look at how to derive the formula for surface area of a cylinder. So if you remember the definition of surface area, if I redraw a rectangular prism, to find the surface area, you had to total all of the surfaces. So there was the top and bottom, right? The left and right, and then the front and the back. So the front and the back. So essentially we had to add 6 different faces. So if we look at a cylinder, you could think of this like a roll of toilet paper. What do the surfaces look like? Well, this surface up top and this surface below, those are circles, right? And in fact, there's 2 of them. So what is the formula for area of a circle? Pi r squared. So far we have 2 of those, or 2 pi r squared. And then if you actually unravel a toilet paper roll, what happens when you unravel it? Well, you get a rectangle, right? When you unravel and grab a piece of toilet paper. So how do I find the area of a rectangle? For a rectangle, the area is length times width. So if I look at this, I'm going to call this the length and width. However, I'm going to replace each of those with different variables. So if I unravel this, what would my width be? Well, it's the same thing as the height. So in fact, I'm going to erase the W and I'm going to write H, height. And then lastly, how would I find a different variable for the length, L? Well, if you take this piece here that I've outlined, you can actually rewrap that around the entire outer portion of the circle. So I'm going to use a different color here. You could rewrap that distance all the way around the circle, and that has a name. All the way around the circle is the circumference. Circumference has a formula. It's 2 pi r. So instead of the length, I'm going to write 2 pi r. So the total surface area, it's made up of 2 circles, right? So both of these together, pi r squared plus another pi r squared is 2 pi r squared. And then I also have to add this piece, right? So how do I find the area of this? I multiply these 2 numbers together, length times width. So 2 pi r times h. Here's my formula for surface area. So we need the radius and we need the height. And therefore we could find the surface area with those 2 measurements. So for this next picture, let's identify the radius and then the height. The radius is 11 yards and the height is 26 yards. So surface area is 2 pi r squared to represent the 2 circles plus 2 pi r h to represent the rectangle when you unravel that. So let's plug this in. So 2 pi 11 squared plus 2 pi 11 times 26. So if I multiply this first number here, 2 times 3.14 times 11 times 11, I get 759.88 plus 2 times 3.14 times 11 times 26, 1,796.08. And if you add these together, round to the nearest tenth, we get 2,556 square yards. For the last one, let's identify the radius and the height. The radius has to go halfway across the circle. So 15 represents all the way across, so I only want halfway. So I have to take 15 and divide by 2, which is 7.5. And then the height is 9, and these are both meters. So surface area, 2 pi r squared to represent the two circles, plus 2 pi rh to represent the rectangle when you unravel that. So let's plug in from the picture. 2 pi, the radius is 7.5, and we're squaring that, plus 2 pi, the radius 7.5, and then the height, which is 9. All right, multiplying this first number together. 2 times 3.14 times 7.5 times 7.5 is 353.25. Multiplying these numbers together. 2 times 3.14 times 7.5 times 9 is 423.9. Add these and round to the nearest tenth. So let's see, 353.25 plus 423.9. I get 777.2, and the units is meters squared.